So this, colored in pink, it's the Paris Cycle Réseau, one of the most extended cycle networks in Europe. So it covers 371 kilometers exactly within the Paris municipality, the area colored in blue. And as you can see, is an absolutely capillary network which covers pretty much every corner of the central urban area of Paris. So for this exercise, we asked ourselves if a network this large and effective could be improved using volunteered geographical data. And what we did was to obtain some volunteered geographical data in the form of a large dataset from the Strava mobile app, which tracks cycling activity via GPS. GPS installed on cyclists' mobile phones, and we ended up with a very large dataset, which looks like this, and it contains around 850,000 individual bike trips collected in a single week in March 2015. So as you can see, this dataset spans very well outside the boundaries of the Paris municipality, and the number of trips taking place within Paris, so in the area which is also covered by the official cycling route, is almost 2/3 of the total. So what we wanted to do was to look at actual bikers' cycling patterns and see if we could spot possible criticalities or problems in the usage of the network, and ideally if we could suggest possible interventions on the network, all based on the actual use that cyclists make of it. So what we did was to take a look at the bike trips that take place within the area covered by the network, but outside of the actual of the existing bike lanes. So this dataset, basically, we came up with this dataset, which basically contain the trips that don't overlap with the network. So the one in blue, the intensity of the color maps onto the number of actual trips taking place on any given route. So as you can see, there seem to be a few quite well established routes that cyclists obviously use, but don't contain cycle lanes, like this one, which seems to be a very clear commuter route from the banlieue here into Paris city center. So long story short, we were able to identify 3 broad categories of these trips that take place in the réseau area, but without using the réseau. The category by far, we think, which is by far the most dangerous, is the one that contains trips that take place between 2 existing segments of the réseau. So, for instance, this one. So here, this is obviously a place where the réseau, the cycle lane, abruptly ends in proximity of a large roundabout, so this is Place de la Bastille, and cyclists are forced basically to go around the square without having the security of a cycle lanes. And if you look at the map, there are several of these circumstances around the city. So this is another one. So these seem to be quite difficult routes that cyclists have to take to go between 2 segments of the network. So this is definitely something that Paris could look into, improve the cyclability of roundabouts, which are a clear hazard. Another category we have already discussed, the trips taking place on roads without a bike lane, so some of them seem to be quite well established, like this one. Clearly a route that cyclists prefer, and probably the municipality could look into equipping it with a cycle lane, which seems to be the sensible thing to do in this circumstance. A third category of problems of trips that we identified are those that take place contra-flow respective to the bike lane. There are quite a few. They are more difficult to spot, but they are very well present in the data set. The responsibility for this, for going contra-flow, not using the réseau, probably lies completely on the shoulders of cyclists, so they should pay more attention to. So this was basically our take at showing how volunteered geographical information can be useful in identifying possible problems with city infrastructures, and possibly to suggest some interventions as well.